Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Lorecrimes. Now, you may have noticed this is a brand new series, a bit of a special series that we're premiering just for you because we really enjoy our talks with Fantasy Fireside, and we will be getting back to Fantasy Fireside and talking about not just Warhammer Fantasy but other stuff. But we also wanted to talk about some sci-fi stuff. So, Colin, would you like to announce what this series is called?
Of course, we're having ourselves a little sci-fi sit-down, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
One could call it as such.
Got to have that alliteration in somewhere.
Of
Um,
course.
and and because Colin was the one who came up with the idea, I believe. I figured, well, what can we talk about to start things off? And Colin, what are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about a setting near and dear to our hearts, a nice little bit of Halo today. And
We love it.
Indeed. And today it'll be in the Halo games, Master Chief's he's chewing bubble gum and kicking ass, and he's being a cool guy, doesn't afraid of anything. But there was a whole war going on in the background. So for the first bit of sci-fi sit down, I figured let's take a look at that war. Let's look at the Human Covenant War. What defined the setting of Halo, as it were, where we get funny Green Man and everyone else almost.
And just as a to get us started, Halo is set in our universe in the future. For reference, do we know ish when Halo Combat Evolved takes place? If I'm very sketchy on the time zones, but is it something like 2200 or something like that? You can have a look.
Farther ahead, but you are
Oh, okay.
you are right. Halo Combat Evolved takes place in the year 2552.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I imagine that's at least in part because 2 and 5 make 7, and Bungie does love themselves the number 7.
Yeah, they do love 7 and world domination, which Destiny. Oh no, how's that world domination going out for your button? Gee, what's going on?
Well, I guess I should say they used to love 7, and that now they seem to just like being evil and incompetent.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've had kind of like Warhammer, we've had the current history we're living in through now, and then in a few years' time or a few centuries' time, we're in the setting of Halo. So where are we starting off with the Human Covenant War?
We're gonna start a couple years beforehand. We're gonna go to the lovely year of 2517, right? Because there's a few things that have or will occur shortly leading up to the around this year, and it'll help set some background. So by 2517, humanity, as in sci-fi settings, and we got on ourselves a nice little spaceport empire, right? The UN, pardon me, the UEG, United Earth Government, sending out, UEG. Sending out, colony ships for a couple hundred years, settling on planets, terraforming. Some of them are, massive population centers such as Reach. Some of them are little backwater places of minimal import, were not for what would happen on them, like Harvest. Nothing too important. It's some sci-fi stuff right now. Humanity spreading out around 800 worlds, I believe, is the total.
Nice.
It's a nice chunk of worlds. It's not the Imperium. It's not a million worlds, but hey, 800 worlds. We're only 500 years from the future. I'd say that's decent.
We've only got one. We can't complain.
I mean, we have one. Any amount more than one is automatically leagues above what we have nowadays, right? And by this point, the setting's history, though. There are some issues even before the aliens decide to kill everyone. You've got the insurrection, faraway colonies going, why do I have to pay taxes to Earth? You're like 1,000 light years away. I don't care. I've never seen Earth. I don't care. So there's some stuff with that. Some independence movements are brewing. There's some disrest. or unrest. I combined disruption and unrest into a new word. So that's going on. The reason I chose 2517 as a nice starting point is because that is the year that the UNSC, the United Nations Space Command Office of Naval Intelligence, did that goofy little thing they did and stole 75 children to turn into super soldiers.
Oni are comically evil, and I love it. But also, how did they get so comically evil? Like, they must be quite important if they're allowed to just do that, surely.
Well, I imagine it's been take like the CIA or whatever, right? And now give them 500 years of access to, spaceborne technology, and you can hide all sorts of crazy government stuff in the infinite void of space, I imagine. I imagine, it didn't take them, even if it took them a few hundred years by Halo to become Oni as we know and love and hate. They had some time to practice their awfulness.
It's much more easy to interrogate someone on like an asteroid field and then just leave them there and say, well, what a political prisoner? What political prisoner? Are you going to go look for them? Enjoy the entire galaxy. Go find them.
Good luck. We could have just shoved it in a box and sent him to the other end. You don't know.
Shot him into the sun. Why not?
Yeah. So, and the reason they do this, by the way, for those not familiar, Master Chief was not made to fight aliens. They were made to fight insurrectionists because there was a series of reports made by a fellow named Dr. Carver called the Carver Findings, as well as later annotated and updated by Dr. Catherine Halsey, the wonderful woman in charge of turning the Spartans into war machines. That said, basically, with all this unrest going on in the fringes of human space, we got a good few decades before we nuke ourselves back to the Stone Age at the worst, which is definitely the worst case pessimist's outlook, right? But it doesn't matter if that's how true that is, because Oni and the UNSC believed it to be true, or they should plan for it. And to their credit, there was a colony at least once that the UNSC pulled an Imperium on, an exterminatus. It was called Far Isle. There was a colony, and then there was nuclear wasteland.
Yeah. And I think there's like a little bit of teasing of this in Halo Reach when you get onto that first mission and you find the people and they're kind of scared by the Spartans, but it's not really explained in the games much. It's more in the books.
Yeah, there is that is definitely more in the books. Although that does incidentally make the Rainbow Six Siege Master Chief skin the closest thing we've ever gotten in a video game to what the Spartans were intended for.
Coolest thing in the last 10 years. Master Chief falling through that house like a sledgehammer. Just being like, right, time to clean house. Like, oh, that was good. Oh, it's Rainbow Six. Oh.
Yeah. So that's why we've got Spartans. That's why the UNSC military at this point was kicking into gear even before the aliens showed up a bit. And most, a couple different characters you will eventually know from the games. We're starting to get some lore presence around this point, games or books. But perhaps most importantly, for what would be to come, humanity, at least some people by this point, know that we're not alone in the universe. Certain archaeological dig sites, naturally immediately taken over by Oni, had discovered ancient Forerunner relics and a couple different facilities. Reach has at least a few of them, at least one. You blow it up in the game, or at least bury it. And there was actually a picture taken through it from a telescope of High Charity, the Covenant homeworld.
That's cool.
Well, homeworld planet station.
It's like a gigantic. Like, people might have a reference of like the phalanx from Warhammer, but like imagine that, but even larger, I think. And it's basically a planet-sized city that can fly around, if I remember correctly. Like,
yeah. Oh,
the scale of it.
It's slip space capable. That thing can move. So with all that settled, now we go to the year 2525.
Hmm.
In this year, where there's a trading vessel, just some human cargo freighter, nothing too important on its own. Has a bit of an error with a slip space engine. It has to jump out of slip space. Sucks for that guy, but it's like your car breaks down on the highway. Basically, it's not that big of a deal, all things considered. Not great, but space AAA can come and give you a hand
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Humanity is advanced enough by this point in Halo that it's unfortunate, but it's that guy's not gonna die.
You're not stranded. Yeah.
No.
We'll find you.
Well, he is gonna die, unfortunately, but not because of slip space issues. Because a Kigyar, also known as a Jackal frigate, funnily enough, the name of the ship is the Minor Transgression. Jackals are pirates, for those of you not too familiar with the lore of the Covenant species. They find this thing and they go, "Hey, what if we invade it?" So they do, and then they invade another one. They do manage to get a distress signal off these ships, not to save them. These people on these ships are well dead, but it is enough for an undercover Oni agent and an AI on Harvest to realize something's going wrong. They think it's insurrectionists, though, because, like I said, humanity's a civil war is a brewing, and even before then, there's a whole lot of minor different rebellions cropping up. So they think it's insurrectionists. So they set a trap for these jackals, right? Such as for example, well, not for example, one of the members of this trap is good old Avery Johnson, and they get ready to fight what they think are some innies, some dirty innies, and then they start fighting aliens, which oh boy, surprise, we're definitely not alone. Previously, just because of how space works, right? They could have seen High Charity from like 10,000 light years away. That means it was there 10,000 years ago, There's no proper way to date. Are those guys still around? Now we have confirmation. They are still around, and they're a little bit mean.
Also, is it worth briefly mentioning about Johnson is kind of like a prototype Spartan in a way? He's not he went through a procedure that was similar to what they were trying to do with Spartans, but it failed for what they wanted to create. But he is built different technically.
He is built different. He is. They call them Spartan ones, although that is in universe retconning. Actually, they renamed it the Spartan 1 program once they started working on the Spartan 2s. They were like, well, we're taking a whole lot of research notes from this. Let's change the name up a bit. So he's a Spartan, not Master Chief or or Spartan 3 or even Spartan 4 levels, but he is built different. So after this little skirmish, they do still manage to open some diplomatic channels. Everyone's like, "Hey, all right, look, rough first start. Let's try again. Let's try and be reasonable about this. Tensions were high. We didn't expect you. You didn't expect us. Let's try and be reasonable." I find it also very funny that in the book Contact Harvest, where this takes place, right? They're the people in charge are like scrambling, like, we don't know anything about them. It's a literally alien culture. How do we make a good first impression? We want to show that we come in peace, right? So they prepare this massive, like, vegetarian fruit buffet. Like, we don't know what they're like. What if they think even, like, killing animals is primitive and barbaric? We don't want to take any chances. And then the brutes are the ones in charge of the diplomatic meeting.
Well, that reminds me of a little bit. Sorry if this sounds annoying, but like Mass Effect, when they first find the other alien races, who at this point are all united, they're like a multi-species society. They bump into the Turians, who are like a very militarized faction, stoic, disciplined bird people. And that starts like the first contact war. And it's not until the Asari and some of the other races get involved. It's like, stop fighting! Stop it! Stop it! We can fix it. It's like, okay. And so that also means that, like, by the time Mass Effect starts, the human species has only been integrated for like 20 years or so.
Yeah.
And there's still people who are just like, I remember when you, like, attack my planet, and therefore I think you suck, and I'm speciesist, and I
Yeah,
hate you. Yeah.
it kind of like that, but unfortunately, none of the third parties in Halo that do exist to some extent either were in a position to or would stop that war. As we get later into this, that'll make a bit more sense. But something goes wrong with the meeting. It's already off to a rough start. Again, the giant monkeys that like the taste of meat have been handed a vegetarian buffet and are realizing that these small little funny things are probably quite a bit weaker than the giant Tarzan monkey.
Are the brutes cannibals as well? Do they? Am I right in remembering they eat each other occasionally?
I think they will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I'm just
that
thinking like they kind of look like monkeys. We'll eat them too. Like, oh, okay, they're smaller than us. We'll
they're
eat them. No, please.
brutes are not are not. That name is quite accurate.
Hmm.
But a grunt.
Oh.
Poor grunts. Grunts are a very frightened people, as a general rule of thumb. They're called ungoi scientifically. They'll just call them grunts. He gets a bit nervous and opens fire. A firefight starts. Round 2 of diplomatic meetings have gone wrong, and unfortunately, there will be no round 3. Because these 3 beings, they did have names prior to this and occupations, but they don't matter. We will call them the prophets of truth, mercy, and regret. There is a Forerunner AI at the center of High Charity that helps keep it powered. The Covenant prophets can go ask it great questions. Maybe it'll deign to answer them, maybe it won't. It tells them something important about the Covenant language and religion, which is that the glyph they had been reading as reclamation translates to reclaimer, and that glyph shines quite brightly around human presence and detects humans. So they come to the realization that, oh no, our entire religion is a lie. Because for those of you unaware, they worship the Foreigners as gods, and they believe that the Covenant is its chosen peoples who will follow in their footsteps to ascend to godhood as the Forerunners did. And now one of the surviving artifacts of that religion is telling them that no, humanity is actually our successors. Get bent.
It's interesting though. Like I've already mentioned Mass Effect. The comparison of they have the equivalent of the Forerunners with the Protheans, but it's more like we're not going to be religious zealots. We're going to be scientific and go, oh, where did the Protheans go? They left all this technology. Like the humans find a relay on Mars. That's how they get to the wider community. But then there is also a thing of like the people who found it, the Asari, they kind of concealed that they had knowledge of the Protheans from the rest of the galaxy. And I'm like, I see you copying Halo's homework there, Mass Effect. What are you doing? I know you slightly changed it up, but that's cheeky.
I still see what's going on here. But this would spell the death knell of the Covenant, or at the very least, the prophets. If you couldn't tell, there's some religious intonations with their role in Covenant society.
Chants and incense.
It would certainly spell the end of them being in charge, to say the least. There would be some upheaval in Covenant society, as I imagine there would be in anything. If you got direct message from the chief religion of your society that your religion was wrong.
Yeah, imagine if like the Vatican Church got a message from like the god of like Buddhism, or I don't think it's just like, oh, it's wrong. Like, oh,
yeah, or it's like,
what about all our treasures and like buildings and church? Oh, we can't let. No, I'm the Pope. No, we can't have that.
I got a phone call from Zeus, and that's not great.
Turns out Zeus was correct. Like, yeah, worship the thunder god. Awesome.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's awkward. So to hide this, they declare that humans are inherently unclean, and it's time for nothing less than the complete eradication of humanity. So that is how we get the conflict that would end with the Halo games. 2555, keep in mind. There is I guess, a little bit of jumping to the end here, but this isn't, quite 40K again, scales of war where it's been 10,000 years of war. But the conflict ends in 2553. So almost 30 years, and it is long enough for an entire generation to be born, knowing nothing but the Human Covenant War. It is initially kept secret that humanity is at war with aliens, and they keep this a secret as much as they can for quite a few years, actually. It's only, I want to say, a little under halfway into the war that they can't hide the fact that we're fighting aliens. Mostly because by this point, we've lost a good few hundred planets. But building up to that, the first part of the war was on that planet of Harvest. If you've ever played Halo Wars, you'll note that it starts with Captain Cutter, 5 long years.
5 long years.
Which I think also does actually make it the single longest battle of the Human Covenant War, because most of them didn't last that long.
And to be fair, it's like arguably the most grueling. Even Cutter, when he's like, and then setback after setback, where it's like, we're winning, and then it's like shots of all these guys being stabbed with energy swords, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like it starts with like, hoorah, Marines, let's get them, and there's a nice a shot of a bunch of Marines cheering while a Covenant ship falls from the sky, and then it immediately cuts to them getting like stabbed, blown up by banshees, glassed. It's not great. The first bit of the war, right? Covenant, they send a single ship over Harvest. Humanity sends 3. Good to be prepared, right? None of those 3 ships report back. So now they're like, okay, it's time to lock in. They send 13, and they do manage to destroy that Covenant ship. At, I believe, the cost of 10 human ships.
Damn.
It's not an even fight. It is not at all an even fight. They only won thanks to the efforts of, how do you call them? Not call them. Oh, pardon me. I vastly underestimated. They sent 40 ships and 13 were destroyed.
Wow, that's even worse. My word.
To blow up one Covenant. It was called a super destroyer, so this was like a real big meaty ship. But
yeah, this wasn't just like a run of the mill like freighter. This was like, no, this is one of their big guns. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But even still, 40-1 is not what you want to see as what you need to bring.
Yeah, like 30 losses between the 2 different skirmishes. Like, 30 ships for one of yours? Oh no.
Yeah, 13 were destroyed at first. I think that brings the casualty is up to 16 ships, but that's still almost half of what you sent after them got blown up. Harvest is then the site of bloody warfare for 5 more years. It's horrible. This is, by the way, at this point, the largest single battle in space humanity has ever fought, and it's 40 dudes versus 1. It was only 1 because Captain... at this point, I think he was only a captain. Preston J. Cole, a very cool dude, realized that, and this does sound kind of stupid at first, but he realized that you need to overload the shields first. If you just do like periodic sustained fire, they're going to keep recharging. You got to fire basically every ship in the fleet coordinated all at once at the thing. Which, sounds like a little stupid brain dead idea. Fire everything at once, blow them up. But it is like, if we don't overwhelmingly concentrate all at once and coordinate our fire, we're screwed.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Halo where you get the elite shields down and he runs behind a tree like, where are you going? Come back, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, it's that, but for a whole warship. It's not great. And this kind of becomes the standard of the Human Covenant War, right? The Covenant will invade. Humans will do what they can, and at first, mankind's like, all right, we're gonna get these. We'll do like the Halo Wars. We'll get some forward-operated bases going. We'll get ready for a fight. We're here for a war, right? Been on Harvest for 5 years. We gotta get set for a war of conquest. And then about the first time the Covenant glass a planet, they're like, well, they're not here for conquest. Conquering is not the goal. We're just here to kill you.
And they don't want our stuff. They want us to have no stuff.
Yeah,
Oh.
no. They they don't want us around anymore. And it is actually, again, the first message, this was informed by the prophets, by the way, was broadcast in near perfect English, which means they've been studying our language for some time before we showed up. So that's a nice bit of fun worry.
And then the prophet of truth was heard all across the world, and the humans in perfect English heard, "Lick my balls," and just glassed.
And it is early on, the pattern sets itself of what the war is going to be very quickly. I know some people in some like different, online, and I know at least in some videos I've made about Halo, were like, well, humanity won all the time on the ground. That is not correct. The way as it is worded, almost verbatim, and I remember the Halo Wars timeline very specifically. I read through that shit religiously as a kid. Humanity won isolated engagements, most of which were on the ground, which is not humanity won most ground victories. It's most of the times they managed to win, it was on the ground.
Yeah, it's someone put a comma in the wrong place and misread it. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And to be fair, whenever you see a cutscene or gameplay of just the elites fighting the regular guys of the UNSC, they're smashing through walls, they're cutting them up, they're grabbing them by the head and pulling them off the ground. Like, that's a tough opponent for like one-on-one. Plus, you've got all the cannon fodder of the jackals and the grunts. You've got the brutes involved. You've got the buggers, the buzzers.
Mm-hmm.
There's an entire coalition of alien races, all who specialize in different ways. And then you got like, I'm just a guy with an assault rifle. This is too much for me.
I'm
This is
Steve.
bullshit. I'm Steve. This is bullshit.
Yeah, it's a bit of an uneven fight. So it is, like I said, there are a fair amount of different wins, right? There's one battle fairly early on. The Covenant, it's a planet called Hot Yai. The Covenant do what they do. They land, they kill as many people as they can. They start looking for stuff, which is probably foreigner artifacts. They love to hunt for foreigner artifacts. It's kind of their whole religion. In response, the UNSC drops 100 ODSTs on that base, and they manage to take it without any casualties.
Ooh. ODSTs. Yeah, we love them.
ODSTs are pretty sick. Those are the exceptions. Because, again, you play Halo, right? You pick up a plasma weapon. You think they're great for dealing with shields. They're not so great once the shields are down. You got to switch out to the bullets. That is not how it works in the lore. That is how it works to make the games fun. Even you get hit with a plasma pistol, you are probably dead, or at least out of the fight.
You
get hit with
your chest piece is melted, and it's melted to your rib cage. Ow.
Yeah, and that rib cage is now on the outside. It's not great. Actually, in the universe, even a grunt with a plasma pistol is a threat to a UNSC Marine. Grunts are scared, and if you shoot them loud enough, they'll run away even if you don't hit them. But just purely looking at technology, right? It is a vastly uneven fight. And then we get to space, where the average ratio of the UNSC Navy to get a tie, at least, like to get a victory, is 3-1. And that is with equivalent ships, like I said. If the Covenant break out like those super carriers, like the one over Harvest, I hope you got a whole fleet.
Humans are like, we don't have a super carrier. What do you mean a super carrier? We don't have one of those.
Yeah, it's not great. There are a few things humanity does have going for it. Not too many, but there are a few. One, of course, is those Spartans. Originally, and their first mission was a semi-test mission, the first one, see how they do, was to deal with some insurrectionists. They're very quickly retooled to deal with aliens. Because as it turns out, super soldiers designed to kill other humans is still a super soldier. So the Covenant learns what it's like to fight Spartans, and Spartans are pretty kick-ass. They're pretty damn cool. Even early on, they don't have energy shields right away. At least by the time of Halo Wars, them having energy shields is again a nice little gameplay thing. Even early in the war without energy shields, they're still massively augmented. They're doing backflips over elites and shooting them midair. taking names, doing all sorts of special missions. Then anytime some, super important whatever job needs to be done, you send in a Spartan, you can rest easy knowing it's almost certainly going to be achieved. Problem, there's 34 Spartans. That is not a lot. So while they are great at doing whatever their victory is, and even if you just attach them to like the normal army for a mission and say, hey, go rain hell behind enemy lines, just make them suffer, that's great. And they will, whatever area they're in, will probably be a UNSC victory. There's the whole rest of the battleground occurring, where, the Covenant's got their Wraith tanks and ghosts and hunters, the 12-foot tall worm monsters.
Mm-hmm.
It is... Spartans help them last longer, not enough to quite win. There's also quite a few brilliant commanders on the UNSC side. Captain Keyes was I believe the only person ever in the entire war to win against the Covenant in a naval engagement while he was outnumbered. It was just him on his ship he was commanding versus, I think, 3 Covenant vessels. And he was doing like napkin math the whole time, like, if I maneuver like this and I gotta avoid these if we do it like this. And they called it the Keyes Loop. He Tokyo drifted a frigate, basically, and managed to get the Covenant to shoot at each other a bit, fire Mac rounds into it. Look good. And of course, Admiral Preston J. Cole, who never lost a single battle against the Covenant, he was eventually promoted to basically, you are the man of the Navy. We will give you everything we want. You need more ships? Yes, sir. Have some more ships. He would go on to win countless decisive victories against the Covenant, at least decisive in the sense that he won and the Covenant had to send more troops later on. But even despite all this, humanity's got heroes born left, right, and center. Sergeant Johnson, Master Chief, all the Spartans. It's not...
Do we know how many Spartan 2s were made? I want to say, top of my head, it's like a couple of hundred at best.
It was 150 originally.
Okay.
For the sake of budget constraints, they had to pull back on that, bring it down to 75.
Okay.
And then of those 75, only 45, I believe, 30 of them died outright from the augmentations, and 12 more washed out.
Okay.
So like they lived, but they didn't make the cut. Some of them were like permanently crippled. I think at least 2 of them had to be put in suspended animation just to see if they could ever make anything out of it. So 33 Spartan 2s initially.
Yeah. And I do have to correct something. There was an episode of Lorecrimes we did a while back where I said that Master Chief is the highest rank of like Spartan officers without being a commissioned officer. It's only the case for Spartan 2s. The only one who was higher ranked than Master Chief was Kurt Ambrose, who was like the guy who oversaw the Spartan 3 program. So like Carter from Halo Reach outranks Master Chief, but that's just because Spartan 3s were mass produced, whereas Spartan 2s, there were so few of them. They were like, we can't give Master Chief a desk job. He's too powerful.
Yeah.
We need to keep him in the front lines.
That would be a bit of a waste. Yeah, so the war then continues on as this, and everything... there's of course, the other final thing, just because everyone likes big guns. Mac cannons. Super big rail gun, because at the end of the day, right, you can have all the fancy science fiction, whatever you want. Big rock thrown fast enough is still the ultimate weapon.
Even that close in atmosphere. It's fine, George. Don't worry about it.
And if I remember correctly, the orbital ones can fire something at 4% the speed of light. Those ones, if they manage to hit right, they would go through one Covenant ship, then go through a second, and it was only the third one that would finally stop the Mac round. That being said, as much as all those things are nice, humanity is outnumbered vastly. They're outgunned. Every destroyed Covenant ship is promptly replaced by another. And it's not like the Covenant is lacking for like leadership of their own, even ignoring the prophets. There's, of course, the elites. I do love me some giant warrior lizards. led by their own intelligent admirals ready to see the war through, eliminate this scourge on their religion, such as good old Thel Vadami, aka the Arbiter, for when we get there. And over the next 30 odd years, a little bit less, humanity goes from 800 worlds to maybe a dozen. The war is just absolutely brutal. Billions are dying. Eventually, they just, like I said, they just start evacuating. Like the Covenant show up, they're like, get everyone on a freighter that we can, send them somewhere else. And the next 30 years is mankind doing every single possible thing it can, at a certain point, just to slow the Covenant, because by the 20th year of the war, it started to become clear that I don't know if we can win this fight. There's a variety of different things. There's the Cole Protocol, once again, Admiral Preston J. Cole, who says, if you're captured or about to be boarded or about to be destroyed, erase all your navigational data, destroy your ship's logs. They cannot find Earth or any other planets, but mainly Earth. Can't find Earth. Don't let them do that. If you can retreat, just jump somewhere random in space. Basically, just smash your hand on the keyboard and the GPS input and go wherever you end up, and then do that a few more times until you can finally set a course to safe waters, right? It's Spartans, for the first, I think it's almost like 30 years of their existence, they're not even publicly made, aware of. But eventually they are. People are like, Oni's like, hey, look, we got these really cool super soldiers. Aren't they awesome? And then ignore the fact that a suspicious amount of them are listed as MIA. Spartans never die. They're only missing in action. Which is indeed official protocol by Oni to never list a Spartan as dead, because no one wants to find out that those demigods are actually quite killable.
Yep.
And again, throughout this, there are isolated human wins. Preston J. Cole goes out, and I say go out, not die, because there's evidence he might have lived and just retired because he was just done fighting. He lured about 300 Covenant ships into a gas giant and then fired a fleet's worth of nukes at that gas giant to turn it into a star, which vaporized the entire Covenant fleet.
Nice.
These the Spartans were this whole time raining merry hell, doing what they can to kill every Covenant, but as the year goes on, there's less and less Spartans.
And they can only be deployed in like kind of like that thing with like 40k. Like one Spartan, like Master Chief, can do a lot, but he's limited to a city or a small place. He can only do anything that's in like small arms fire range. There's a lot of fighting going on, and every time you lose one of those guys, they're basically irreplaceable. So
yeah,
not great. Even as powerful as they are, they can only be in one place at one time.
They do eventually start constructing. Well, I guess that is a good enough word. Spartan 3's the third generation, headed by a man named Colonel James Ackerson, who, I'll give Catherine Halsey some amount of credit. She did at least feel bad about it. You still kidnap the children and turn them into machines of war. She at least had the conscience to feel bad about doing it.
Yeah.
Ackerson did not have that conscience.
Nope.
He admitted it, but he didn't feel bad. This goal was to, we have Spartans. They're not enough. We need expendable Spartans. So he made some expendable Spartans. And I'll give the 3s some credit. I like the 3s. If they were given the same care as the 2s, they could have been just as good, if not better. They were given worse off armor, and basically the explicit purpose of the 3s was send them on missions that an ODST can't complete, and a Spartan 2 can't complete without dying in the process.
And send like 3 of them, just to be sure. And to be fair, if you've got like 40 Spartan 2s, if you can make like 400 Spartan 3s, that's a lot more war zones that could benefit from Spartans.
Indeed, but that's basically how it worked. The first couple missions of each generation of Spartan 3s, there was like 300 of each, 300 Spartans. They'd spend like a couple months going on missions against the Covenant, kicking ass, taking names. These are, again, still children, and it was even worse for them because the genetic selection process was made looser because technology improved after the Spartan IIs, which meant they would go up to basically any old random war orphan from the Covenant, some 6-year-old, and go, "Hey, little Timmy, do you want to hurt the people that killed mommy and daddy?"
Yeah, and to be fair, with the outbreak of the first contact, I believe John was like 14 years old, so like he
Yeah.
wasn't super old by the time he was deployed, and I think now in the timeline he's like pushing 50. Like, oh, he's got them old
Like
bones, but he's not allowed to sleep.
in modern Halo, yeah, he's getting older, but he's not even 50. He's getting there, but they were quite young. I think it's even worse for the 3s because at least the 2s had like 5 years of training for the augmentations and time to at least hit puberty. The 3s were induced puberty, which means that even before they were augmented, like there's passages where they would stand up, and you went from the body of a 6-year-old to the body of like a 20-year-old, and to learn how to walk again. And then they were augmented and given power armor and said, "All right, go get him, buddy."
I don't know how to spell yet. I can't read. Don't worry about it.
Can you
We'll
count
get to
to
that if you
15?
survive.
Because that's what the ammo counter goes up to.
Can you count the amount of grenades on your chest? Yeah. Well, don't lose count because if you drop one, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Have at him.
That's the measures humanity's resorting to at this point because it is not looking good. Again, sporadic victories, but by and large, over the course of those almost 30 years, we go from humanity's got a pretty decent little space empire going, to where'd all those planets go? They're turned into glass because the Covenant, it's called glassing. They show up with their massive ships and their plasma beams, fire at the ground until the planet is glass. Which
scorched earth, but without the scorching, more of the let's just and to be fair, that would come in handy later on in the Halo timeline, at least from humanity's perspective. But right now, it's not great. It's like,
right now, no, this is awful.
I just spent all this money on this beautiful house on the coast of the. Oh no, it's turned into glass. Oh no.
And then I'm turned into glass.
Oh no.
Oof. Is a good way to put it. I remember reading, it's in Halo Reach, you can find a data log where it's like initially they're like, well, based on what we believe the Covenant fleet size to be, it would take them hundreds of years to glass a single planet, let alone all of them. And then they realize, oh, there's a lot more Covenant ships than we thought there was. Glassing takes days, not centuries. They don't always totally glass a planet. Some terraforming can always be done. Sometimes they just glass the human settlements and then leave. But on the real populated worlds, you got a nice little marble now left over.
Yeah.
Going forward from there, we would get to the closing years of the war. There's, at this point, essentially 2 planets of any worth humanity has left. Earth, of course, and I will give Halo credit. They avoided calling it Terra. I know after on some I got done yapping about BattleTech for 2 hours. They also call it Terra. Something about war games. They really like changing Earth to Terra. They like that Latin name for some reason. They held back in Halo, but yeah. So it's just Earth. And of course, the planet of Reach. The most important planet, arguably more so than Earth, because Earth is the homeworld of humanity. It's where a lot of political organizations are home. It is important. It's not just symbolic. Reach is where you make the weapons that you need to kill the aliens that want to kill you.
It's like Armageddon. Like, oh no, we can't lose this one. It's too important.
Yeah, it's like, I know it sucks, but we really need to keep it. It's like the headquarters of the military. It's the home of the Spartans. I forget the exact number, but it's like some hugely disproportionate amount of the Navy and the Army come out of Reach. I think half of its population is enlisted in the military.
Yeah, I get the impression from Reach that the actual native population, there's not that much of them. It's like farming communities and stuff like that. We like it's not about that. It's about we have all these top secret facilities and enlisted men who are doing stuff, but don't worry about that. We're just you do your farming and leave us alone, and we'll leave you alone. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
There's I think like I said at the beginning, there's foreigner artifacts on Reach too. It's like for like
Mhm.
all like every tier you can imagine, and there's just massive amounts of titanium, which is what the UNSC builds their ship out of. So everything from like the most mundane, boring reason we need it to mine to the most like top secret alien super project stuff going on in the bowels of Reach. Reach is very important.
And let's not forget the most important thing about Reach, those ostrich-looking things that you see on the first level that run
The
past you.
MOAs.
Yeah, they're
You can get
great.
you can get a MOA burger when you're in New Alexandria or Reach City, as a certain show calls it.
Doesn't that same certain show kill the Arbiter in a fight with Master Chief?
It kills a Arbiter,
Ha!
which
One of them, yeah.
there were other Arbiters, but that's not why they did the TV show. That wasn't a cool little reference to an existing character. That was the show bad.
Well, it's over now. Sigh of relief.
We're free.
We're free.
Now it's just the new Halo games we have to worry about. Anyway, Reach. This is again, I will give Halsey credit. She's a monstrous human being, but she makes a point. If Reach falls, we're screwed. ONI estimates, the good old Office of Naval Intelligence, that we got about 3 months. Like within 3 months, the Covenant are going to find Reach. Like it is inevitable. 3 days later,
Woof.
which 3 days is technically within 3 months, but when you say 3 months, I'd give it at least like a month and a half before I'd start like really worrying. 3
Yeah.
days is a little early in that time span. Thank you, Oni. Noble Team, a group of Spartan 3s and 1-2, are sent to investigate a comms relay going down on the main military planet. You cannot risk insurrectionists causing shit. So they get there, and they find the Covenant are on Reach. And over the course of a single month, maybe about a month and a half, I think, actually, if I remember the game's little time dates correctly, Reach goes from the single most heavily defended UNSC planet to a barren wasteland. At one point, I think it says in the game, 40% of the entire UNSC military was beelining it for Reach because, like, we cannot lose this. This cannot happen. Which I imagine that made me imagine, since I got into like 40K. Like, imagine 40% of the Imperial Navy over Cadia.
Imagine half of all the Space Marine chapters deploying all of their forces just to stop this one planet from dying. Like, oh, important then. Yeah.
Abaddon warps out of the warp, and then a wall of bullets emerges from space. Like, oh, that's a lot of Nova cannons.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the UNSC does not have that hardware. They have those orbital mech plannons. They're taking Covenant names left, right, and center. On the ground, you've got the UNSC army valiantly fighting, pushing the Covenant back. In some places, they do secure, a good amount of victories. This is Reach. This is about the only planet humanity has something resembling an advantage. And then, the cutscene. Slip space rupture detected. George destroys a supercarrier at the cost of his own life. What if 100 more ships showed up and fuck you?
Yeah.
This time led
Spawn
by...
camping. Not fair, guys.
Yeah. This time led by the man who would become the Arbiter. So he's in charge now, and he was a very decorated elite admiral. If I remember correctly, you could trace back 1 billion dead humans to his actions in the war. He knew how to fight, to say the least. So in spite of this, Reach within barely, not even 2 months, goes from the headquarters of the military to a barren wasteland. And by this point, humanity's kind of just waiting to die. I will say, there is one thing, and I know you find Halo 4 very boring. I will give it credit. I do like the original purpose of the UNSC Infinity. Because by this point, humanity was kind of accepting that we've lost. Like, this is it. We've lost. So the original purpose of the Infinity, that big ship from Halo 4 and beyond, was a giant, like, arc ship. Fiddle it with as many people as we can, make it as big as we can, and send it off to space so someone will survive.
But isn't Halo 4 also the game that's like, oh, by the way, all the war crimes Halsey did, we imprinted them in her mind because the Spartans, we actually made like a blueprint for them in your genetic material. So they were inevitably going to be created, and therefore we're going to take away all of the moral quandaries of the Spartans and just say, oh, no, we put that there because we knew what was going to happen. And I hate that storyline.
We can ignore that one.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan.
Like, I still think Halo 5 is a decent game, but there's a lot that's
Halo 5's a decent game.
Halo 4, no.
I was gonna say you don't want that on the internet, Colin.
No. Halo. I like Halo 4. I will defend Halo 4. I will defend Halo 5's multiplayer parts of it.
There's only so much that Nathan Fillion can save that game. He can't hold it up on his own.
When Buck and the Arbiter show up in Halo 5, it's like when a drowning man getting a brief gasp of fresh air before you're sent back down to drown in the shit pile.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Human Covenant War at this point, it's going to be over soon one way or another. In fact, what Master Chief was going to be doing during this was one last final mission, get all of the Spartan IIs together, refit a specialized human cruiser, the Pillar of Autumn, and try and find the Covenant homeworld and kidnap one of their leaders and hopefully force a ceasefire, right? And then Reach happened. They don't get to do that. Master Chief is aboard the Pillar of Autumn. It makes a random, according to the Cole Protocol, jump, but it actually jumps to, of course, the beginning of Halo Combat Evolved. It does not jump to a random system, because Cortana was with Halsey, digging around in Forerunner stuff. With Noble Six's sacrifice, get Cortana to the Chief. The Pillar of Autumn makes that jump, and we end up over this strange floating ring. Andy, you want to say it? What is this ring?
They call it Halo. Wow.
And
what is it? Said Captain Keys. It's a big ring in it, said Cortana. And then fun game.
And this is where we can summarize a bit more through this, because this is the Halo games now. But we find this ring, this fancy big old ring in space, and the Covenant are very interested in it. So naturally, and Cortana has some extent of knowledge as to what it is, not full extent. You find that out partway through the game, what Halo exactly is. But knowledge of foreigner artifacts is a little bit had by her. So everyone touches down. Pillar of Autumn gets shot out of the sky after taking down a good amount of Covenant ships. Good for the Pillar of Autumn. Good for Cortana. They was, as truth might say, blinded by its majesty at first. They begin fighting on these alien ruins, doing what they can to ruins. Artifact is a better word. Doing what they can to investigate. They were looking for a super weapon. Because as Halsey puts it, as they added in Halo Reach, we need something real special, and we think this might be it.
And am I right in thinking, because you mentioned that the man who would be Arbiter was in charge of the Reach campaign, he diverted to follow this Pillar of Autumn, because at the beginning of Halo 2, he's getting stuck with a big hot poker, but he's in charge of the Halo 1 offensive.
Yeah, he is the one in charge of the ships over the Halo, the first Halo. Well, I believe it's Installation 04, technically. So, fourth Halo, what are you going to do?
First contact of the Halo device.
Yeah. There's some evidence humanity has to believe that this could be a super weapon. Humanity being like Oni, Halsey, Cortana. Everyone else is like, what the hell is this? So they land on it. They're like, all right, let's see what this is. Covenant lands on it soon, sure enough. Start finding out that the ring is inhabited. mostly just by Forerunner constructs. Nothing too special. Sentinels. At this point on Halo, they're just kind of floating around, making repairs, existing. Nothing too fancy. And then the Covenant decide to play a God, what is that game show where it's like, what's behind the door? You could win. You could win a brand new car.
Is it fair to say that they see the humans more as a nuisance because they're like it's one ship, they've got like a guy who's running around on the surface, but like they're not concertedly sending the military to kill Master Chief. They're just like, oh, just like look for the materials. We need to uncover what's going. It's more of that like Master Chief in a way gets a bit of a lucky break of like they're not focusing on the humans. They're distracted by the Forerunner tech, which is why he's able to circumnavigate their battle lines, do some damage, and it's only until this point when you realize, oh, we weren't the threat all along. There's something else living here, and it's scary.
Yeah. Part one is like because the Halo rings, again, for a little bit more, is how the Covenant would ascend as the Forerunners did in their belief. You activate the Halo rings, you get to be gods along with your Forerunners. Now you ascend with them alongside them, and you can live in a eternal paradise. And then as they're poking around, they open a door. And as the Master Chief is fighting, and the rest of, if you read the book Halo of the Flood, you actually get to see what the rest of the Pillar of Autumn's crew was doing, like guerrilla war. They've got a couple bases here and there, trying to do what they can on the Halo rings. There are actually Halo rings are also like part wildlife preserve. They were cut from the games for technical reasons, but there were supposed to be animals and stuff around. So they're foraging, scavenging, seeing what the hell this weird thing is. They've never seen anything like it, even after 30 years of fighting aliens. Covenant open a door. It gets quiet in that little area. Captain Keyes is like, we think there might be weapons in that door. Why are they being so quiet about it? They might have found something cool. Captain Keyes goes to investigate. Why is Captain Keyes fallen silent now? He must have been captured by the Covenant.
And where is Johnson? Where is my boy?
Where is Johnson? Johnson apparently just booked it and ran, which I don't blame him.
Got out. He's built different. Don't worry about it.
Built different. So now it's time to send in the chief. Like, all right, what's going on here? What's going on here? He shows up. Whole bunch of grunts running for their lives, and jackals, which is different. That's different. Usually we're the ones running. What's going on here? DL dives into the facility. It's very quiet. There's one crazy Marine. Why is he crazy? And it's horrors of war.
I'll blow your face off. Get away from me.
You're one of those things.
They're dead. Oh, God.
I go, that's concerning. Why are the walls glooping? Why are they making gloopy noises?
Let's go in deeper. Why not?
He goes in deeper, finds a recording, and zombies exist. That's fun. Oh, they're mushrooms that can control. Oh shit. The Flood are now here. The third participant of the Human Covenant War, though a very brief one, is here to be a problem. The Flood, for those unaware. Oh, good God. How do I summarize this after all that has been released about the Flood and everything? The Forerunner, as you can guess from the name Forerunner, they were the civilization that ruled the galaxy before anyone else. The Flood are the corrupted remnants of the guys that came before them that the Forerunners killed. That they tried to kill everyone once. As Master Chief soon finds out, in order to defeat the Flood, because there was no other option for the Forerunners, they just had to kill everything in the galaxy, basically larger than a spider, to starve the Flood out. And they contained the rest to try and study and just keep them from getting out and escaping after the rings were fired.
That's always a good idea. We need to understand the thing. No, kill it. Put it in the fire.
Yeah.
Put it in the furnace.
They take over the bodies and minds and biomass of those around them and add them to their ranks. They're proper much more horrifying zombies because these ones can leap 50 feet at you, and they can use guns and pilot vehicles and even ships, and are guided by a vastly intelligent hive mind. It's like the Tyranids if the hive mind would sometimes speak poetry at you.
It's an articulate Tyranid hive mind. Like, they can speak. And I must admit, I think the first time I saw the Halo anniversary cutscene of the grave mind, I think my jaw dropped because of like how gross it was,
Oh
but
yeah,
also how
it's
interesting it was. I'm like, ugh.
yeah, it's nasty. The Covenant are now also dealing with this threat. The Sentinels around the Halo have realized, oh, the flood's out. That's bad. Humanity's now dealing with this too. Everyone on Halo is like, why does this exist? This is a new awful problem. We thought we only had one group of aliens to deal with.
Chib's Dubbo like, what is that? Oh, let's shoot it with the rifle, Chief. Let's go.
God bless Chips Dubbo. Humanity it's bad. It's not great, especially on the Halo ring. There's more battles taking place again. Like there was another planet. I forget the name of it. But around the same time as Reach, just a little cutback to the rest of the outside universe. That about 90% of the fleet around that planet was destroyed. So the Covenant in the background is still mulching its way through humanity.
Hmm.
But in Halo, you can see Spaceman 117 fighting for his goddamn life. Eventually, he meets a Forerunner AI, which, if you read the Forerunner trilogy, and as much as I know people don't like the new Forerunner, a lot of Forerunner stuff, anything since 343. The Forerunner trilogy is quite a good read. I would recommend it. 343, Guilty Spark, a Forerunner AI, the Monitor of Installation 04, who is actually the digitized personality of an ancient human. Fun fact. They put him in a robo body.
And is it worth briefly touching on like humans existed before the Covenant and they were there at the same time as the Forerunners?
It is actually, that being said, I guess, yeah, that brief little tangent, like all the species did exist because the after, like before the Halos fired, the Foreigners basically went around cataloging everyone they could in, massive like preservation chambers, like, it's to save what we can because we're going to kill everything else. Humanity and they'd have an ancient space empire, and they did at one point fight the Forerunners, which, fun fact, their allies in that war were the Prophet race.
How are the
Ironic.
turntables?
You gotta get the Palpatine for that one. Ironic. But yeah, on Halo, the Flood is out, rapidly assimilating everything, like just taking over everything, adding it to their biomass, including good old Captain Keyes. And the Flood, too, is interested in the human homeworld of Earth. For less religious reasons than the Covenant were, granted, the Flood simply want it just to eat.
That sounds like a mighty fine buffet, said the Grave Mind.
Yeah. And the this was never, I don't think it was ever even put into in any kind of Halo canon, but the original like idea they had at Bungie behind the Flood was that, as I'll just say it now, the Flood, as more and more Flood exist, they get smarter because it adds your intelligence to the hive mind. Every corpse added is a little bit more brain power for the Flood to have. It makes something called a proto-grave mind, which is that weird, icky ball sack thing Captain Keyes was a part of, which is very smart. Then if it gets bigger, it makes a grave mind, which is the massive, disgusting, ugly tentacle thing that speaks in iambic pentameter, I think it is. And originally, they've, like I said, I don't believe this was ever added to any game or book, but the idea that the Bungie office was with the grave mind was not the end. They would then make more grave minds in other planets, and if they made enough grave minds, the Flood could then create a new universe by destroying the current one.
Wow. Putting the Dead Space universe to shame. They were like, we can become moons. Like, we're making a new universe, mate. Bollocks.
Yeah. So even at some level, even before the Forerunner trilogy, the Flood were eldritch zombies. But Master Chief has one, and Cortana, they've got one less ace up their sleeve. Even after, Guilty Spark tells them to go activate the Halo ring, which Cortana says, no, don't do that. That'll kill everyone. So Master Chief doesn't. That ace up his sleeve, the Pillar of Autumn slipspace engine. Turn it on, set it to overdrive, and it blows up.
I must say, I don't know how you felt the first time you played Halo, But I remember when I was at the end of the game on that, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm like teenage, yet less than a teenager at the time when it was released, and that final level kicks in, and the music's there, and you just see the Pillar of Autumn beached on like the edge of this
Hmm.
crevasse, and you have like the flood, but it's just like it's just barren, and you're going through the corridors again, and you're like, this is where this started, and especially for me, this was like a very important game for me because it was so different, and it was just that going from this full of life level full of lots of staff and crew and Keys and Cortana, and I'm like, Keys is dead. I don't know where Johnson is. All the crew are dead. All the I haven't seen a human being in forever. And it's
Yeah.
like Echo 4. I hope Echo 419's okay. And then it's like going through there, and it's like I remember when this started, it was about fighting the Covenant, and now this threat makes them pale in comparison. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, that was so well done. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, it phenomenal. Yeah, first Halo blown up, Master Chief escapes, gets back to Earth, gets himself a fancy new suit of armor. Somehow, Sergeant Johnson got off too. Don't worry about it. They did cover that in one of the books. Like there was some like of him and like 3 other
Ship's
people.
double.
Ship's Dubbo, and I believe also another Spartan II, Naomi.
Hmm.
No, it might have been. I don't remember if it was Naomi.
Because she's on the ship, isn't she? Because when you look at like the beginning of the game, there's like a readout of vital signs, and it's like John 117 and her. I think
There's
I'm pretty sure
that,
there's another
and
one.
I know at the end of Halo Reach, you can like if you in one of the final cutscenes, if you like pan the camera to the right, it's the only cutscene you can move the camera during. You can see her taking a nap in a cryo chamber because she was critically wounded, so they put her in the freeze tank to keep her alive. You know, so that happens. Get back to Earth. Halo 2, everyone's having a great time on Earth, and then we cut to the Arbiter, as he will soon be known, not having a great time.
Also, Ron Perlman's here. Hooray!
Yeah.
Ron Perlman. Amazing.
It should be noted that at this point, war's been going on for a while. The elites at first threw themselves into it. They're the military arm of the Covenant. Let's take down these heathens. They started, you know, growing some respect for humanity over time and began to wonder, why don't we invite them to join the Covenant? You know, they were like, they would see, you know, cases of like lone human soldiers, you know, dying to buy time for people to escape. Humanity as a whole fighting tooth and nail. They were like, humans, they're pretty honorable warriors. We like them. We like what they're doing. Which, for an elite, you know, we can maybe talk about them another time. For an elite, acknowledging you as a potential equal in any way is like, ooh, that is one hell of a compliment. So a lot of the elites were like, they're pretty cool. Why don't we let them join?
Sergeant Forge giving him heck. And for the record, I'd have kicked your ass the first time if it wasn't for the lady.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, don't underestimate us.
There is within the Covenant also the elites and the prophets. A lot of politics go on in Covenant high society, as it were.
Lots of big hats.
Lots of big hats. Lots of bickering. The prophets, they've always wanted to get definitely one over on the elites. And now, as more and more elites are wondering why are we still fighting humanity? Surely they should be offered at least a chance to say yes and join, right? Because unlike anyone else, humanity was never given that option. I guess the grunts weren't either, but they weren't genocided. They were just enslaved.
but the grunts are so small. I'm just going to kick you until you say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Humanity didn't even get that. So combined with this, we get to Halo 2, where the Arbiter is made the Arbiter, a great warrior and an influential leader, who it's nothing but coincidence that the figures that are arbiters are usually people who could politically threaten the prophets. That's just a coincidence. But these highly influential elites are given the honor of being told to die in a suicide mission for the prophets. We now have the Arbiter, who, after letting Halo blow up, is told this is the only way forward for you, unless you'd like to be executed, of course. Shortly into the game, Covenant finds Earth. The worst case scenario happens. They trip over it on accident. The Prophet of Regret thought it was just a foreigner dig site. Little did he know, oh, this is the homeworld of humanity. So now the battle for Earth has begun. Chief is fighting. Everyone's fighting. Earth cities are getting glassed in the background as the battle goes on.
Rip New Mombasa. Ooh.
Rip New Mombasa. Eventually, they cut to another Halo ring because, of course, they find another one. There's 7 of those things. This one, unlike the previous ring, the Flood are already out.
Ooh.
And so while Master Chief goes down there, kills the Prophet of Regret, one of the 3 major religious leaders.
Who's a bit of a wild card. Like, even in the early cutscenes of Halo 2, you can tell the other 2 don't respect Regret as much as like Truth is obviously in charge. What's the other one? Truth, Regret, and
Mercy.
Yeah, Mercy's like the old guy who's like, you can tell by the way they've pitched it, probably Regret's the young one, he's the old one, and then Truth is the one who's like the real power, who's kind of manipulating them both. And Regret's like, oh, I know I've been like told to get rid of the humans on Earth, but shiny, shiny, jingly, jangly, jingly, jangly. Oh, is that a Halo ring? Off he goes, gets chased, and then they're like, oh, he's really badly prepared to invade this Halo ring. And the other prophets, you get like communications from them going like, why have you broken away from the main force? What are you doing?
Yeah.
you're being stupid, you dumb.
Which causes Master Chief to punch him in the face till he dies in one of the boss fights of all time.
One of the most underwhelming boss fights of jump and press punch. I love Halo, but gosh, their boss fights are pretty bad.
Yeah. It is then, as the elites argue, we could have saved him if the Prophet of Truth allowed more reinforcements to be delivered. But such was not the case, and as Truth puts it, no, you failed to protect him. It is what it is. We will be changing the honor guard of the Covenant to the Brutes. It is now the Brutes who will protect the Prophets.
Mm-hmm.
The Arbiter is sent in to retrieve the key that activates Halo. Succeeds. And then Ron Perlman shoves him into a pit with a gravity hammer. The Chief Tartarus, chieftain of the Brutes. And Master Chief and the Arbiter get to meet each other for the first time and have a one-on-one with the Gravemind. Who informs them that, look, you got to stop that key from turning. You got to keep Regret from turning on the Halo array.
Did you say Ron Perlman? Do you mean Keith? Because
or no, that's not Ron Perlman.
Ron
Perlman is Lord Hood. Shit.
Yeah, Keith David is the Arbiter.
Yeah, who's Tartarus? It's another big voice actor.
Oh, that's a good question. I can't remember. I know Keith David is the Arbiter. Hood is Ron Perlman. I'll check for you. For you.
Yeah. In the meantime, again, it's the rest of Halo 2. You got to stop the
Kevin Michael Richardson. There you go. That's who it is.
By this point, by the way, High Charity and the largest Covenant fleet anyone's ever seen has warped over the Halo ring. So the Gravemind sends Master Chief to High Charity, teleports him there because the Flood are insane and they can just teleport you if they wish. They're usually more interested in eating you, so they don't usually do it, but they can. And the Arbiter just remains on the Halo ring to go a different route. Master Chief almost kills the Truth and Mercy, those prophets, and starts running around High Charity, just causing problems. The Flood show up to High Charity, more problems. It is a bad day to be a citizen of High Charity. The Arbiter, meanwhile, is explaining to the rest of the elites that they're now marked for death by the prophets. And the Covenant Civil War, the Great Schism, begins. As at first it's just the elites and anyone under their command who might side with them fighting the rest of the Covenant. Master Chief almost stops the prophets from taking Miranda Keys and Avery Johnson to the Halo ring, but doesn't quite make it. He's stranded on High Charity.
And Mercy's gone.
Mercy gets killed by the Flood. Truth could have stopped that and naturally didn't.
And to be fair, Master Chief does pull the Flood off and pop him, where he's like, he's gone, but I'm not going to be malicious about it. Like, there you go. Yeah, he's more moral than Truth.
Yeah. And Halo 2 ends with Sergeant Johnson pointing a scarab at the Arbiter. You don't like me, and I sure as hell don't like you, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So they go kill Tartarus, chieftain of the brutes. 343 Guilty Spark shows back up, tells them all that yes, there's actually 6 more Halo rings.
A beacon? Listen, Tinkerbell, don't make me.
Don't shake the light bulb. And you know the Arbiter's like, where do we go? Why the Ark? We get the most awful cliffhanger in video game history. You mind telling me what you're doing on that ship? Sir, finishing this fight.
Did you have to live through that wait?
I did not. My first Halo game was 3.
It was bad. I
Oh,
remember
I bet.
finishing Halo 2, and I was like, I will say I was allayed a bit by Steve Vai's cover of the Halo theme in the credits. I'm like, all right, I'll give you okay. I'm gonna play some LAN parties, but like, oh, it was excruciating. But that, what was the time frame between 2 and 3? Like a couple of years? 3 years. Yeah, it makes sense. But it was a good game.
Cut to Halo 3. The Battle of Earth is in full swing, though, and it's a mess. The elites are on our team now. That's something. That does, some Covenant tech is on our side now. We can fight a bit more evenly. But Earth's defenses have been like shattered by this point. Lord Hood says as much that we're kind of all dead. He doesn't want to go to the Ark because he's like, we have nothing to go to the Ark with.
And not only that, if we abandon Earth, it's like, okay, let's say we win the fight to get the Ark. What are we coming back to? Like a marble planet? No good. I live here. I'm one of the idiots who lives here. Like that's Ron Perlman. No, I'm not doing it. But he does allow Captain Keyes' daughter Miranda to go and lead the charge.
He does. Yeah. So, but after between the threat of the Covenant activating Halo and Cortana, who had stayed behind on High Charity and was tortured by the Gravemind. Yes, the Flood can torture robots. Robots can feel pain, turns out.
Just enough tentacles, you can do anything, says the Flood.
And between, again, the threat of the Covenant activating the Ark, because they have made it to the Ark, as well as the fact that a whole lot of Flood were going to be on their way through High Charity, which they have taken over by this point and turned it into a meat garden.
I like that. Meat garden.
Yeah. Which, fun fact, all of that Flood biomass you see in the High Charity level, that used to be an alien. That used to be part of the Covenant.
And probably a little bit of human, just for good measure. Because I think the first ship that crashes is a Pelican, and it's full of like human.
Yeah. I think it was the In Amber Clad, the frigate from early on in Halo 2 crashes, and then a Pelican flies out of it. And then, it was full of Flood.
There's a little bit of human in that lasagna as well.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the layers. Don't eat it. It's poisonous. It's bad.
So the final act of the Human Covenant War is to stop Truth from turning on the Halo array and maybe stop the Flood while we're at it. We may, which sure enough, it's the plot of Halo 3. We get there. Truth gets killed after one final effort. Probably my favorite mission in all of Halo. Just the Covenant is just the title of it. And they succeed. They manage to kill Truth between the, Chief, the Arbiter, all of humanity, the elites. They
grabs him by the neck. You must be silenced. And what was the actor who played? Was it?
I don't remember who
the
played
actor. He was in Superman as Zod, and he was in Oblivion, I believe, as the Mankar Cameron. Truth actor. Hey, what's his name? Chancellor Valorum, is it? Oh no, it's Michael Wincott. Completely different. No, that's Halo 2. No, it was Terrence Stamp in Halo 3. They swapped actors between 2 and 3. So yeah, the Mankar Cameron from Oblivion / Zod from Superman was also the Prophet of Truth.
I knew he sounded different. I just figured oh, it's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And with that, though, the Human Covenant War officially came to a close. It was 25-53 by this point. the rest of Halo is not technically part of the Human Covenant War. It is
Mm.
Master Chief and the Arbiter and Sergeant Avery Johnson blowing up the Ark. Rest in peace, Avery Johnson. You pissed off the light bulb, so it melted your skin.
Every day, when I go to bed every day, I have a picture of him in a frame, and I give it a kiss before I go to bed.
But with that, the Gravebite was destroyed. All of the flood that were out and about in the galaxy at that point were destroyed. They show back a couple more times, but the day was ultimately won at the cost of. Let me see if I can find a nice casualty figure, because that one. Give me 1 moment. That I didn't prepare, but I know
Let me
that.
check the high score. I need to check the table for like how many casualties. Like what was the Arbiter's kill count at the end of it?
Yeah. Let me. It would appear that prior to the Human Covenant War, there were 23 billion humans died during the war, and then billions more Covenant.
Ooh. And like Halo, Master Chief is just like raising his hands, like, I got at least 2 billion on my own. It's like, yeah, fair enough, mate, fair enough. Kurt, they're like, well, I did my bit, but then I pretended to die, and then I didn't die, and then I made the Spartan freeze, but then I did die. Poor Kurt.
Although for a few more highlights, I must shout out Vice Admiral Danforth Whitcomb. Have you seen a picture of this man, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
His mustache is that I think took out Covenant on its own. He gave them one hell of a final present after he died, which was to leave a recorded message in a Death Star in a can that took out about 300 Covenant ships and a refueling station that was going to invade Earth. There were a lot of like cool bits throughout the Human Covenant War that, just for the sake of not getting into every little detail, there was quite a lot of cool things like that. The last technical action of the Human Covenant War was, I think, a couple years later, though, when Spartan Grey Team, who had another Nova bomb, they were behind enemy lines and had no way to contact humanity. And they didn't know if there was any humanity left. So they had a vote. Do we turn on this Nova bomb over this elite colony? And they voted yes.
They didn't know there was a truce. They were like, it's fine.
They
We're
did
still
it.
at war.
I think the Arbiter forgave him, which, on the one hand, good on him. Arbiter's a real one for that. On the other hand, he did kill 1 billion people, so that he was probably like,
Ooh.
that's fair.
At what point the Arbiter's like, who am I to judge? I've committed so many war crimes. I don't know. Live and let live, said Keith David.
Yeah, and for a little bit after the war, humanity was in pieces. The rest of the Covenant now had to figure out what to do now that there's no Covenant anymore. I know, for example, the grunts mostly just kind of kept doing whatever. They're grunts, right? Like they just kept kind of hanging around whoever they were already with. The elites and the brutes would then fight a bit of a murderous war.
That's still going on.
Yeah. The elites also, I want to say it was like about 3,000, maybe 4,000 years of the prophets handling all the engineering and everything. The elites had to figure out, kind of like humanity in like 40K, like, how do we build our ships?
But also a fair few of them defected to side with the brutes for some reason. Like in the new stuff, they're all like, we fight with the brutes because I guess they're just indoctrinated enough to be like, we're going to avenge the prophets. But I don't know.
That there was like a lot of different splinter groups after the fact, as you could expect from the fall of a galaxy-spanning empire. Like some just wanted to remake the Covenant. Some are just still sticking to that diehard belief. Some of them joined, the Banished, which was its own thing. Again, not even part of the Covenant, which, those were like originally brutes who fought the Covenant. Some elites are like, well, you don't like the Covenant, but we don't like humanity and you don't either. So hell, why not? At the end of the Human Covenant War, to say the powers that be were in a bit of a mess was an understatement.
Yeah.
There was some hope at the end. Rebuilding can begin. Humanity is, if nothing else, got access to a whole lot of new toys through reverse engineering of Foreigner and Covenant stuff. So, hey, rebuilding could begin. Peace was made with at least the elites. Very tentative peace, because the Office of Naval Intelligence is awful. They just suck.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite things in one of the post like Human Covenant war books, is that Oni was funding a bunch of those like splinter groups to keep the elites fighting amongst each other. And all of that amounted to the Infinity Mac blasting them basically all at once. Taxpayer dollars well spent.
Yep. And it's like one day the Arbiter walks and is like, what is that? It's like, oh, that's a mass autopsy of the elite species. Why are you oh, we just haven't shut it down since the end of the war. The war was 2 years ago. Why are you still doing this?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Although I guess last thing, 2 last notes. We'll end on the Arbiter, because I love me some elites. The Arbiter would go on to become the leader of Sang Helios and try and rebuild, purge the rest of the Covenant splinter forces. The title of Arbiter was once again a position of respect, long after all the years where the Covenant made it a disgraced title. And one last fun fact, the Arbiter thought Sauron was real.
Like actually J.R.R. Tolkien Sauron.
Yes. Some cultural differences happened, and he thought someone made like a reference to Sauron, and he was like, must be some great evil from ancient human times. Because he didn't know that they were just talking about a book.
That just reminds me of Star Trek with the Klingon Worf, where he's in the bar one day and he's like, give me a human drink. And they give him prune juice and he just gulps it down and goes, warrior's drink. It's like, no, it's not a warrior's drink. It's like, well, don't let, he's happy. Let him enjoy it. Let him have fun.
Let him be. Yeah. Funny little note to end on. The Arbiter thought Sauron was a historical figure.
Yeah. And he was. But yeah, it's an interesting timeline, because there's obviously so many characters. Like, you got the Spartans, you've got the Navy, you've got the grunts on the ground, you've got all the politics of the Covenant going on in the background. You've got
the literal grunts.
Yeah, the literal grunts. And I find these days I have to siphon off post Halo Reach Halo content to enjoy the original stuff untarnished. But what it stands, I'm always like, I'm a la carte taking bits of like the Halo 4 onward stuff that I like and don't like, and be like, I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that.
I will say I do like the Foreigner trilogy a lot. I have something that's going to get me yelled at in the comment section, and I know for a fact it's going to get me yelled at. But I'm sorry, even when Bungie was running the show, they decided the Forerunners were aliens. Guilty Spark was either speaking in metaphor when he called Master Chief Forerunner, or, he was clearly rampant.
Or maybe it was just the case of he was like, oh, humans were there before, so Forerunner could be a catch-all term of like, there's the species, but then there's just like, you were here before, you're the before time species.
It's that. But I have vivid memories of reading a terminal in Halo 3 that says humans and the Forerunners fought a war in ancient times. And it was not called a civil war, which would kind of imply they're different species. And I'm sorry, even when Bungie was in control, the Forerunners stopped being humans past Halo 2 at the latest.
I still remember when you'd play Halo 3 on the Xbox 360, you go to the terminal, it would open the app in the Halo Waypoint app on Xbox 360, and it would play a video and it would tell you all the lore. So it did happen. I was there in the olden days. It's true. And to be fair, like Halo, they didn't know what they were doing in a broad sense at Halo 1, and they had to piece like Warhammer, they had to piece it together as they went.
Yeah. So I am very sorry, people who are going to yell at me in the comments. It was not 343 that made the Forerunners aliens. That was Bungie.
Nope.
Oh God, no! Fuck the will. So yeah, early on, I mean, with Halo CE, Halo was still like a soft marathon sequel. So
Yeah, yeah. Look how that turned out for them. Tush.
Oh.
Uh-oh. But yeah, any closing thoughts for the Halo Human Covenant War? I mean, we've done broad strokes. Are there any like good books to investigate,
Um,
or just simply this game or that game, which you would say?
Contact. I
I
mean,
think like Halo
obviously,
Wars is quite good.
Halo Wars is quite good. Obviously, the original Halo trilogy, Reach and ODST, bangers.
Mm,
Um, let's see what else. I know there's like I think it was for the buildup of Halo 3, or it might have been, I don't remember when Halo Legends came out. But either way, fun, animated shorts for Halo. You should
mm.
absolutely watch Halo Legends. You can find them on YouTube for free, so you might as well. There is. I'm also. I don't. It wasn't called Halo Legends, but it might have still been called Halo Legends, like as a book. Halo Evolutions. I always think it's just another book called Halo Legends. No, there is. No, no, never mind. Halo Evolutions though. It's a nice like collection of stories like throughout Halo. Some of which are during the Human Covenant War. I like them. They're fun reads.
Hmm.
Yeah, I quite like that. Uh, that's got some
There
stuff
is
about
also.
Cole. Fall of Reach. I will say,
Hmm.
Reach came after the book Fall of Reach, so Bungie did do some retconning, which I know even back during when Reach was released, people were upset about that. I prefer as it is in Halo Reach, and then like you kind of said, Andy, you can pick and choose stuff from the Fall of Reach that you like more.
There is that animated live action film as
Oh
well,
yeah.
which is like it's a tie-in to Halo 4, but it's set before Halo 1, where it's like Pulaski and some of the guys who would go on to be officers are saved by Master Chief in like the very early days of the Human Covenant War. Um, is it Forward Unto Dawn? Is that what it's
I think
called?
it's Forward Unto Dawn. Yeah. Also, fun
Yeah,
fact:
Forward Unto
Chief is
Dawn.
like 17 at that point.
Yeah, and he pops down. He's like 17 foot, and you're like, oh my word! But it is good at like establishing that him and it is Pulaski, isn't it, from Halo 4?
Yeah, he's. I think he's the cool guy.
He's the one who's
Or
like
is that
second in command
Lasky?
who becomes cap, or is it Lasky, not
Yeah,
Pulaski?
Lasky.
Lasky. So it's him and Lasky meet at that incident, and then when Halo 4 happens, they have that. Oh, I remember you. You saved me and my school kid friends who were in this military base from dying, and you killed a bunch of hunters. That was cool. Um, but yeah, there's Halo Legends. There's that film. There's some lore here, and like even like the Halo trailers. It's like check out the Halo trailers for ODST, for Halo 3 with the Believe campaign. They had like the Halo 3 Believe campaign trailers alone have so much like
Just charm and character going into them.
charm and character. And there's like that one trailer where it's like a really like it was the I think it was supposed to be like a test subject for because Spielberg was originally going to make a Halo TV series, but he dropped out. And it was like that one cinematic is basically the guys who target locked Master Chief when he was falling onto Earth, so they knew where to pick him up. And so they
Hmm.
had to make sure they didn't miss the time frame of like he's burning up in atmosphere and because if you miss it, we don't know where he is. And
Hmm.
that's just like a little and I liked when Halo did little cinematic
Stuff
trailers
like
or
that. Yeah.
even the Halo Reach one where it's the original Noble Six, and it's
Oh yeah,
Cat running
that one was
through,
so
and
good. Cat had her arm in that one still.
yeah, and then she lost her arm, and then Tom, I think it's Tom, who's the guy who was before Noble Six, picks up the bomb and jucks it into the super carrier, and you get those trailers, and they're so well made, and it's a shame that's like a bygone era of game trailers.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not even just Halo. That's just gaming in general.
just in general, it's just sad.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. Follow Reach is good. Read the Flood. Yeah. Halo Legends watch and Halo Evolutions read. They're good stuff. Odd One Out is the best short. I might as well cause more fights. I like the funny Dragon Ball Z Spartan. I'm sorry.
nice.
He's one heck
Well,
of a mama.
and there's the Gundam episode where it's like the guy in a big mecha
Oh,
suit. And
do that. Ugh,
like,
which one was that? Be Human.
I think so. And he's just like ba 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 ba. You're like, wow. They have Gundams in Halo. That's cool. But yes, other than that, any closing thoughts for the Halo Covenant War, or
Uh,
the Human Covenant War, I should say, from Halo?
I just, I think I'll close with, I think the reason, part of why it, drew me to Halo so much is that I like how Halo does humanity being on a losing front. Because in the games it doesn't show as much because you're Spaceman John Master Chief kicking ass, right? And then you read a book and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, humanity is getting its shit pushed in. Like it
Hmm.
is horrific. Which a lot of different a lot of alien stories have, or stories with aliens, like humanity's on the losing front, but it doesn't necessarily come across that way. I mean, even Independence Day. Hello, boys, I'm back. Or, like 40K will a lot of the time say, X aliens are a threat, and then we read Space Marine Man murders a high fleet on his own. Like, I feel like you're telling me one thing and you're showing me another.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
I
It just with the work like Halo Reach alone put into like this is humanity's greatest bastion, and it was like a small hurdle for the Covenant.
I think the best trailer for the games that does this is the Life trailer for ODST, where it's the ODSTs with the Welsh
Oh
music in the
yeah,
background, and it's like them drop podding in, and it's all grimy and dirty. I feel like what they should have done with the Halo series is be like, do it from the perspective of some Halo grunts, do it from some like ODSTs or and then like Master Chief is this kind of almost mythical feature who would pop in at one time and just crunk the hell out of the Covenant and
yeah,
then be gone. And it was almost like, did that even happen? But it's like follow the gritty, kind of like the trailer that I mentioned before about like them target locking him, and it's like the guy's got the big spiker in his shoulder, and the medic's pulling it out, and he's stuck to the wall. Like have that grimy, gritty part of Halo lore, and then
yeah.
the Spartans pop in, but they're not the focus because otherwise you have them going through weird love stories and taking their helmets off in the first episode. And you're like, what is this? What is this? Get
Mm-hmm.
out
Get
of
out.
here! Get out of here!
Yeah, we get, and I think it does a good job of. I like all the ways like everyone's portrayed in the Human Covenant War. Even the aliens. I think they did
Mm.
a good job with the aliens too.
That opening cinematic for Halo 2 was such a breath of fresh air. Even when I played it originally, I was like, "Oh, I get to see the perspective of the Covenant, where it's like, here's Master Chief and Johnson being rewarded for winning, and here's the loser of that exchange being punished and how they treat him."
Getting
And
horrifically tortured.
yeah, and how the two sides of the coin that's really cool. And then you see a bit more of that, which is nice. Um, but yeah, I guess that's our first episode of Sci Fi Sitdown.
Indeed.
Um, please let us know in the comments if there's any other sci-fi settings you would like us to talk about. I'll put it out there. I'd love to talk about a bit of Mass Effect. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. And if you want us to talk about more Halo or other settings that are not Halo, let us know. Um, yeah, I think this was a good start to the series.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
so let us know, and we'll go from here.
awesome. Right, we'll see you guys on the next episode then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.